What's up, everyone? Jets Brady back here with another video. I figured I'd tell you a little bit more about myself and this wonderful hobby of ours. So, after I graduated high school in '93, my first job out of high school, I worked at Toys R Us. I always liked toys, and of course they had cards. Of course, that was back during the early '90s junk era. After I left there, I got fired. You're 18, shit happens. After I left there, I went to work at two card shops. Well, card/comic shops. And working in a hobby shop, especially when you love opening packs, is one of the hardest things you could possibly do. The one that I worked full-time at was the Mad Mike's Comics and Cards. So I was there a lot, and it was hard not to open stuff. And the other one was it used to be just a general bookstore at the one in the mall in Jersey, and then it started getting into comics and cards, and then pretty much then they got rid of all the regular books, and they just solely focused on cards and comics. That one I pretty much worked for free. I just got product for my for when I worked. And yeah, it's hard working in a hobby shop, even in the '90s, because you wanted to open everything. Probably my biggest regret is we used to have at the one in the mall. Everyone who worked there used to have a box that they put stuff in they wanted. I had original Magic cards in them, and I don't know why I just never grabbed them. Because some of those original Magic cards are worth a lot of money. And, a lot of us don't have card shops anymore. And, I got lucky. I got to work at two of them. The one I quit, the one at the mall, and then the other one I worked till they went out of business because the owner ended up moving to New York. And he didn't want to have to travel back and forth, so he shut it down. Oh, what else did I want to touch on? Yeah, I'm just being around cards all day. As much of a dream you think it would be, it's not, because it was torture. Even some of the, in the '90s, I was doing non-sport stuff too. Like Star Wars cards, where they came from. I was doing comic books. So my hobbies have changed a little bit, since now I just pretty much just focus on football cards. But I do get pops every once in a while. Some different Star Wars stuff. I always I'm kind of upset that Toys R Us is closing. Even though they were higher priced on stuff, you could find stuff there that you couldn't really find at Walmart or Target, especially Star Wars stuff. And that was basically the only reason I went to Toys R Us, was to look at their Star Wars toys. But there's always Amazon and everything. So yeah, I'm only at 4 minutes. I can talk more. I remember pulling some stuff out of doing especially doing the non-sports stuff, because that's what they ended up getting more of, since it was a comic shop first. I mean, they did have baseball cards and football cards, but that's where I pulled this thing out of. I wish it showed up better on camera. Let me take it out of the sleeve that's been in for 20 years. I might want to change the sleeve, because seriously, that's from 20 years ago. I probably put this in the sleeve in '94. This is from Extreme Studios from Rob Liefeld. Anyone who knows who Youngblood is, or, well, if you know who Deadpool is, Rob Liefeld created Deadpool. After he left Marvel, him and a bunch of other guys started their own comic company called Image. I mean, maybe you heard some titles from Image, like Walking Dead, Spawn, Savage Dragon. I really wish this could show up better. Like, if you... I can probably... It almost looks like it's popping out. It's a pretty cool effect in person. Okay, for you kids watching, this was considered a hit. I mean, it is pretty darn cool. The camera doesn't justify the card. These were seated, I think, 1 per every 6 boxes or something. Let me get this a new sleeve. These were a hit. It's like it's when like the 90s inserts started getting better. Even they got better in football and baseball and what have you. But that's when the inserts started getting a little bit better than they were. Because I think some of you kids probably saw stuff from the 80s Open where it was just like a glossy card or an all-star game card. Yeah, so, I mean, if you ever have, especially for you young guys, if you ever have a chance to work in a card shop, do it. It's fun, but it's frustrating at the same time. Not being, you really do want to open everything. Like guys who own card shops now, especially with what's in them, I don't know how they don't open everything. But then again, stuff's a lot more expensive now than it was in the 90s. Because most of the stuff in the 90s was like $3 or under. A lot of it was under $2, actually. All right, everybody. You be good. Be safe. May the force be with you. Peace. Jets, Jets, Jets.